Fire Princess Reviews. I'm Fire Princess Lily here to talk to you about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd. So, this is our first episode review video. So here we are. Boom, first one. Thank you for joining us. Every Tuesday, so long as the series is continuing, we'll be talking about Doctor Who because I watch it Monday night, record Tuesday morning, and upload during the day on Tuesday. So that's how Tuesdays are going to be scheduled from now on. So, have something to do. We're going to talk about the latest episode of Doctor Who. Expect a ton of spoilers as we talk basically about everything. And I took a lot of notes so that we can talk about it. So let's get into it. The latest episode is called the Tauranga Conundrum. I don't know. I just pronounced that terribly. But anyway, it opens up with the Doctor and friends being on a junk planet, looking for an object. The name of the planet I didn't quite pick up, even though it was said a couple of times. And the island that they're looking for is never quite, it's shown, but the name for it isn't mentioned because it's not important. It's just a plot point, a reason for the Doctor and friends to be on said planet, because in their search, Graham finds a sonic mine, which is a nasty piece of technology. The Doctor tries to keep it from exploding by keeping it in stasis lock. Doesn't quite work, explodes in all their faces. Thankfully, they wake up in a hospital of sorts, and they're like, where the people taking care of them are like, where are your name tags? And they're like, we don't have name tags. Like, that's impossible. Name tag thing totally glossed over too, so forget about it. And the Doctor's like, okay, well, thanks for fixing us up. I gotta go. And she's like in pain. She's like, oh, that doesn't feel right. But she's gotta keep going. So she's searching for an exit. She's like, come on, you lot. And so they're looking for an exit. They keep going through different rooms. The first room is General Eve Cicero. They have a discussion about her for a little bit, about how she's in the Book of Celebrants. Apparently the Doctor is too. The Doctor apparently has like an entire volume dedicated to her, so that's neat. In the General's room is her brother, whose name I never caught. It said a lot, but I never even wrote it down because I never caught it. And her robot assistant, who's like an android kind of guy, who is an android, his name is Ronan. Got him. Boom. Got him actually at the end of the episode, so that's on me. But they're having an argument when the Doctor walks in about whatever the General's condition is, because the brother feels that his sister, Eve, is not being honest with him about whatever it is and saying it's something else. But she's like, nope, it's just this thing, which I think they call like corn fever or cotton fever, something like that. Anyway, it starts to see. Running around more on the ship, they discover a pregnant man. Apparently his species, men get pregnant and women get pregnant too. Men give birth to boys, women give birth to girls. That's how that works. So it's kind of interesting. And it's there that the Doctor discovers that they actually aren't in a hospital. Well, they are in a hospital, but it's a spaceship. Like, she's running around trying to get back to the TARDIS because, you know, she just kind of got it back like a little while ago, so she doesn't really want to part from it, especially if it was left on a scavenging planet. Like, that's no bueno. So yeah. Moving along. So the Doctor's like, we're turning this shit around because I'm the Doctor. She's running, she's looking for control. She's like, I need to talk to, you know, the flight crew. There is no flight crew. Turns out the thing's automated. She pulls out her sonic and it's like, hey, can do whatever I want. And the male Doctor, the actual medical doctor on the ship, whose name is Astaroth, something close to that. He's like, look, I'm the Doctor here. This is, you know, you're my patient. These are all my patients. And it's my job to make sure that everybody gets safely to our destination. And if you try to take over the ship, they will blow it up. And that's not being safe. That's not doing my job. You're keeping me from doing my job. And the Doctor's like, you're right. I am doing that. That's my bad. Like, she totally kind of like is like, yeah. She calms down. She's like, where are we? You know, what path are we taking? And he's like, doing this. Normally wouldn't come through here because it's a contested area, but we're right on the edge of that, and there's an asteroid field, so that's probably why we're doing that. And the doctor's like, well, there's nothing else out there. What's this? And there's a little, like, blip, 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 blip heading towards him. And that blip, blip, blip breaks in. It's a monster. It's a monster. I don't know why I always do that. But doctor's like, okay, you stay here. I'm going to check this out because this seems dangerous. And the astronaut's like, no, I'm the doctor. You stay here. I'll check it out. This is my ship, you know. This is my, like, 8th tour or whatever. So it's kind of like a military kind of scenario. And just like, we'll both check it out. I'll go here and you go there. He's like, no, that seems more dangerous for you to go that way. So I'll go that way. I'm the doctor. I can't stop you from going to the other place, but I'm going that way. So if you want to check out the other side, be my guest. It's not quite said like that, but it's all implied like that. And so they both go and check out their various life pod sides, because it's 2 different life pods they have to check out. And so they get there, and, well, one of the life pods has already been jettisoned. And it's the doctor side. The doctor's like, hey, this has been jettisoned. How's your side? He's like, it's still here, but I hear a noise. And she's like, stay away from that noise. Don't engage. Don't go. He's like, yeah. Goes, walks in, gets locked into a life pod, you know, like a lifeboat. And it gets shot off into space, and then it explodes. Yeah, so that sucks. He dies. In the middle of that, sorry, notes, the robot, Ronan, is up to something because he talks to the other physician. He's like, hey, the general needs more adrenaline blockers. She's like, well, I don't know, you know, what if that's okay. Maybe I should talk to you. He's like, nope, it's got to be you. You got to do it. And we find out later that's because of the condition she actually has. But at the time in the episode, it seemed really, really, like, shifty. And it made me think that maybe something was, like, he was planning something. So that's my bad. He was a good robot. Then we actually get to see the monster. It's just a little, like, little creature. And it's called a patine. It's called a patine. We find that out later as well. It basically is just eating parts of the ship. Eating like crazy. And so the doctor's like, hey, get off the ship or you'll have me to deal with. And she like pulls out her sonic and is like trying to scan it. And the thing eats the sonic. I'm trying to get through this because I don't want this to be as long as all our other videos. But no, it might be. It eats the sonic, then it spits out. So I wrote, doesn't like the sonic. But the sonic isn't working after that. So the other physician, who is not dead, takes the doctor back to, like, you know, the navigation room. And all the friends are there with her because they also see the monster, or the alien creature. And they find out that it's called a patine. And it's a chalice-level threat, which means it's super duper dangerous. It will eat ships. It's apparently impervious to anything, and it is poisonous to touch. So you can't touch it, you can't shoot it and kill it. It's super destructive, and there's nothing you can do. You're basically, don't engage, you're dead kind of problem. So it begins eating more of the ship, and, you know, life systems and things are going down. Meanwhile, Yaz and Ryan go look for it, as well as Doctor and Graham also go their own way to go look for it, if at least I'm remembering that correctly. And they go to the pregnant guy's chamber. Nope, they're not looking for it. The doctor's calling a meeting, but she's like, I need 7 minutes because I need to think about this. I need to, like, you know, figure this out. And so they're getting everybody together. They go to the pregnancy chamber, and the pregnant guy is like, hey, that's cool, thanks, but hey, feel this kick. This is so cool, right? And it's actually pretty touching. And he's like, I'm going to give up this baby because I'm not, you know, ready to be a dad. And it's really just kind of, it's kind of a side story just so we can get some more Ryan backstory, because as we all know, he's got his own father issues, and so they talk about that, him and Yaz do, and like, you know, how his dad wasn't in his life, he wasn't there when he needed him to be. Talk about how his mom died, apparently a heart attack when he was 13 years old. Just happened. Like, which is kind of scary to think about, honestly. Then we go back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you know, I'm thinking about this, I'm trying to figure out what to do, and the physician, whose name I can't remember, I really, really don't like, I think it was like Natalie, it's something close to that, right? And so she's like, what do you mean, what do you think? We're doomed, we're dead, we're not. She's like, nope, I don't believe we are. Anything is possible, you just have to think about it, you have to imagine it, because imagination is so powerful. Lives and worlds and everything like runs on imagination. It relies on imagination to see it through, because you have to imagine how to solve the problem before you can actually just solve the problem. So I'm trying to imagine the solution to the question, which is, what does it want? Every living thing, from the smallest to the biggest, wants something. Like, it's a very, very doctory answer. So they get everybody together, and before that they confirm that they'll be destroyed one way or another. Basically, the ship senses that the Patine is on it, and is sending basically an alert to the main complex, and it's like, hey, there's like a threat on the ship. It needs to be destroyed because of a threat. So they're turning off that alarm, like, boop, down. Everything's fine. We're cool. You don't need to destroy the ship. And the physician there, Natalie, she's like, if we do that too many times, it'll override us, and the ship will be destroyed anyway. And if we try to take the ship off course, we'll be destroyed. And if we let the monster eat the ship, we'll be destroyed. So no matter what, we're screwed, so you better start imagining super hard. So they get everybody together, and the general has actually faced Patines before. She's like, they are terrible. They destroyed an entire fleet. So we're proper fucked, more or less, is what she's getting at. So the doctor divvies up jobs. First one is to protect the antimatter drive from the Patine, because as the general tells her, like, well, after it's taken care of, like, these systems in the ship, the next thing it's going to go for is the source of power, whatever runs the ship, which is the antimatter drive. And so that's the first one. The other one is the guy who is pregnant, he's going into labor, because of course he is. And so Ryan and Graham are going to stick around and deliver the baby, because he's like, look, she's brilliant, this physician, but I need some guys there, you know what I mean? And they're like, sure, why not? This isn't really our customs, but, you know, sure, it's different on other planets. And Yaz and Ronan go with the doctor in order to protect the antimatter drive. We learned so much about how antimatter works, which is really cool. It's like, you know, this sends these particles going at such a speed to create protons, and then what this does, it stores those, and that creates propulsion, creates its force to move this ship, which is really cool, because it's antimatter generating energy to move matter. And it's like a totally cool science lesson that I wish I remembered more of to talk about, but I really like that this doctor is trying to get back into balancing the action and the scientific learning and stuff. So she, like, leaves Yaz and Ronan there to guard the antimatter drive, because there's a third party that's going to figure out how to steer the ship faster to its destination, because if it doesn't get there sooner, they're all going to die because life support, etc., blah, blah, blah. So they get to the brig, the doctor does, with the general and her brother, whose name I can't remember still, and her brother's like, I could build, you know, a flight rig so that you could steer this ship. She's like, no, you can't. He's like, yes, I can. She's like, then do it. And the doctor's like, good, while you do that, when we start to steer the ship, I'll send a message that says that we're still on course so they don't blow us up. And basically, he does. He builds it, and she gets into it. And so the doctor's thinking and thinking, and she's like, how are they going to destroy the ship? because we're too far out for missiles, so there has to be a bomb on the ship, and there's a bomb on the ship. So that's cool. Or it's not cool, but the doctor goes, she finds it, and the Sonic is working again. She's like, recharge, because that's what the monster wants. It doesn't want to kill us. It doesn't care about us. It's just hungry, and it eats energy. So, that's what we're going to do. And she goes, she gets the bomb from where the antimatter drive is, because that's where she figures it would be, and of course it is. And she and Yaz go off to a life pod. Of course, the monster attacks in between all of this, and Yaz and Ronan drive it off, which is really cool, because apparently it can be stunned, which I think it's actually just eating the energy from the stun and being full for a little bit, and they, like, get it away from the antimatter drive, it runs off to somewhere else in the ship. Anyway, the Doctor and Yaz go to where the life pods were, program the bomb to blow up at a certain time, and toss it in, and Yaz is like, what do you mean it's going to blow up? She's like, it's going to blow up anyway. But the idea is that it's a lot of energy, and right now it's building up a lot of energy, so the creature, the patine, will feel that and come to it and try to eat it. And, of course, it works out, but there's some really funny commentary where the Doctor's like, I hope I'm right, because I'll be real embarrassed if I am not. And Yaz is like, you'll also be dead if you're not. There's somebody coming, so we're going to have to do that.
Have a good night.
You too. So, doing more of this. Right. It's my job. This is going to be a long video, so maybe these will be just as long as anything else. So, then we cut back to Graham and Ryan helping deliver their baby. There's some great dialogue there where Graham talks about having watched a midwife show, so he knows what he's doing, and, Ryan's going to be pissing away on YouTube instead of learning life skills, stuff like that. The guy who's giving birth is like, I can't do this, and Ryan kind of talks him down, which is pretty cool and neat. Yeah, so they lure the monster away with the bomb. We also discovered what the general is condition is. She has pilot's heart, which is why she's taking adrenaline blockers, because too much adrenaline will make her heart go pfft. So, yeah. So while she's steering the ship, she's like talking with her brother, and they're like going over like their own like problems with each other, more or less. She's like, I didn't respect you enough. He's like, well, I never said I loved you and that I was proud of you, etc. And they kind of get over the things, and bomb thing happens. Monster eats the bomb. Doctor throws it out an airlock, so it goes off into space. Hooray! And the general dies. She dies piloting the ship because of her pilot's heart. Even though she's like, I can't die from pilot's heart because I'm the poster child of the entire program, because I did it like faster than anybody else in all of history. And if I have pilot's heart, it looks bad. But she did have pilot's heart, and it killed her. But her brother finishes flying the ship, even though he hasn't had any training. He's like, I'm a Cicero. This is in our blood. This is what we do. And so, what time was it? Okay. Sorry. So we do, and so he drives the ship, and he sends, word to the place that everything's fine, they just need help with an emergency landing, etc., blah, blah, blah. Graham and Ryan help deliver the baby. They cut the cord. Graham tries to get that fist bump. Still gets no fist bump. It's pretty bad. And basically they have to wait a while for decontamination and, like, security sweeps, more or less, before they'll be let off the ship. And the Doctor gives a great speech about how hope continues to prevail, how people prevail. Or people prevail, hope prevails, more or less. There's a great scene where she also talks about her many doctorates. And she's like, basically I'm a doctor of hope. Mostly hope. And the guy decides to keep the baby. It's really great. And they give kind of a funeral for the general. It's very touching. So I really enjoyed this episode. That's all the notes, and that's basically the end of the episode. I really enjoyed this episode, and just in that I like how everybody has something to do. Like, that's really nice. Like, I'm just tearing these up, don't mind me. It's really cool. I think I'll keep saying this. as the series goes on, and that that's a foghorn because it's super foggy outside. I just really enjoy how they're, like, giving people stuff to do. While it's nice, of course, to focus on the Doctor, and the majority of the focus is totally on the Doctor, like, absolutely, and as it should be, it's nice to see that everybody's not totally reliant on the Doctor to fix all the problem. So, yeah, that's why I like it. That's why I like this series, because it's just like normal people helping other people doing things. And the Doctor's there, and the Doctor's incredible. So, yeah, that's it. That's this episode. Next week will be the next episode, obviously. Tomorrow is going to be another one of these episode videos. We're going to talk about that time I got reincarnated as a slime, the 6th episode of the series. Maybe we'll do like kind of a breakdown on the other 5 episodes for that, but probably not. Because, as I mentioned, we've already talked about the manga a whole lot. This is running 21 minutes already. Yeah, and that's it. And we'll keep adding episodes as they go. So, Monday, look forward to the main video on the channel. Tuesdays, Doctor Who. Wednesdays, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. And we'll see where we go from there. But, as always, until the next time, enjoy cartoons, enjoy comics. I said it backwards, but I'll see you in the next video. Bye!